calling this City Commission meeting to order. Welcome to your City Commission meeting, Tuesday, July 14th, 2020. Please turn off or silence all cell phones during the meeting. Meetings are televised every day on Channel 2 at 7 p.m. and midnight and available for viewing on YouTube and Facebook Live. The Leavenworth City Commission meeting will be open to the public. Face coverings and social distancing are required to attend the meeting. The public is encouraged to view the meeting via Facebook Live or Channel 2 and to submit questions on agenda items to be read during discussion on that topic. Submit your questions to cwilliamson@firstcity.org no later than 6 p.m. on July 14th. Would everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by silent meditation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. The first order of business for this evening is for me to read a proclamation for the Leavenworth Parks and Recreation Month. The City of Leavenworth, Kansas, proclamation. Whereas our parks and recreation are vitally important to establishing and maintaining the quality of life in our communities, ensuring the mental and emotional health of all citizens, and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of a community and region, they build active communities that aid in the prevention of chronic disease, provide therapeutic recreation services for those who are mentally or physically disabled, and whereas parks and recreation programs increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas parks and natural recreation areas improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve the quality of the air we breathe, provide vegetative buffers to development, and produce habitat for wildlife. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and whereas the City of Leavenworth recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources, now therefore I, Myron J. Mike Griswold, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the month of July 2020 as Leavenworth Parks and Recreation Month. In the City of Leavenworth, and I call upon all citizens and civic organizations of Leavenworth to observe this month as sanctioned by the U.S. Congress with appropriate ceremonies and activities. In witness whereof I set my hand and have affixed the Great Seal of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, this 14th day of July in the year of 2020. And I've signed this proclamation and will get it to the director of our Parks and Recreation Division, Mr. Steve Grant, sometime probably tomorrow. Okay. So we're into old business now, and the first agenda item under old business is consideration of previous meeting minutes, which were minutes from our June 23rd, 2020 regular meeting. Do my fellow commissioners have any questions or comments on the meeting minutes from June 23rd? If not, I will entertain a motion from one of our remote commissioners.
Commissioner Leonhard, I move to approve minutes from June 23rd, 2020, regular meeting.
Second.
Commissioner Wilson, I second it.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the minutes from our June 23rd, 2020 regular meeting. We're going to begin voting with Commissioner Leonhard.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder?
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger?
Aye.
and I vote aye as the mayor. The vote passes 5-0. So our minutes from our meeting of June 23rd, regular meeting, are approved. Thank you. We have three second consideration ordinances, and the first one is second consideration ordinance 8130, special use permit, 1373 Sherman Street.
Sherman Avenue. There is a Sherman Street, this is Sherman Avenue.
There's two of them, there's Sherman Avenue, Sherman Street.
Yeah, this is Sherman Avenue.
Is it? Okay, it says Sherman
Okay.
Street there.
Mr. Mayor and Commission, there have been no changes from the first consideration ordinance on this. If you do have any questions about the item, our city planning director is here, Julie Hurley, if you have any questions.
Any questions or comments from commissioners? This requires a roll call vote, so we're going to begin voting with Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Leonhard?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder?
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger?
Aye.
And I vote aye as the mayor. The ayes have it. The vote is 5-0. The motion carries, so we've approved that second consideration ordinance 8130. Next is second consideration ordinance 8131, special use permit 625 Pawnee Street.
Mr. Mayor and Commission, again, there are no changes from the first consideration, and again, our planning and community development director is here if you have any questions.
Any questions or comments from commissioners? If not, we will begin voting on this roll call vote with Commissioner Leonhard,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder,
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger,
Aye.
and I vote aye as the mayor. The ayes have it. The vote is 5-0. The motion carries. So we've approved second consideration ordinance 8131. Next agenda item is second consideration ordinance 8132, development regulations text amendments.
Mr. Mayor and Commission, there have been no public comments since the first consideration. Once again, as a brief reminder, these are cleanup items that staff has gathered over the course of a year for our city's development regulations. If you have any questions on individual items, Julie Hurley is here to answer those questions.
Any questions or comments from commissioners? Okay, we will take a roll call vote, and we are going to begin voting with Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Leonhard,
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder,
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger,
Aye.
and I vote aye as the mayor. The ayes have it. The vote is 5-0. Motion carries, and so we've approved second consideration ordinance of 8132. We are into the new business portion of the meeting now, and I understand, and so public comment, items not listed on the agenda or receipt of petition. And I think there may be a gentleman or lady, come on up, sir. And please state your name and address.
Hello, I'm Joseph Smith, 513 Elizabeth Street. Mayor Griswold, Commissioners, I'm here to request a solution to the city's ongoing cat nuisance problem. My family and I have been...
We cannot hear.
Yeah. Commissioner Leonhard, I can't hear.
Is the speaker turned on?
The microphone's in the camera there. So, I mean, if you wanted to sit at the table there.
Yeah. Why don't you come up at the table,
Yeah.
Mr. Smith?
They can't hear you, the other commissioners can't hear you.
Thank you.
I'm here to request a solution to the ongoing cat nuisance problem in the city of Leavenworth. My family and I, as well as the majority of the city of Leavenworth, take pride in our property. However, we are being plagued with nuisance cats, defecating in our yards, making our outside environments unusable. I have acquired local ordinances from the city of Lansing for reference, as the city of Leavenworth does not have any existing ordinances against cats. The only existing ordinance pertains to cats as a nuisance in trailer parks. Much irony there. So I have brought to you guys propositions to imply or provide penalties to those offending cats at large. cats defecating on properties other than their homes, and enforcement of smells. So really, I just bring to you, I think, a citywide issue. My family and I have built a large property. We've got a nice deck, entertaining area, and we can't use it now. We've got cats living under our deck. The animal control has been contacted. I've trapped cats through the animal control, only for the owners to pick them back up. There's nothing they can do. I've contacted local law enforcement. They've advised it's a civil issue, and there's nothing they can do either. So I'm looking for a solution to that. And again, I've printed off documents if you would like a copy.
Sure.
I'm passing that way.
Is that from the city of Lansing, Mr.?
Those are from the city of Lansing. So those are excerpts from the city of Lansing with the fines that they provide, as well as punishments, enforce. I mean, it's also, a way that you guys could maybe make a couple bucks. So, it's a monetary gain for the city of Leavenworth, and it makes the residents a lot happier.
How long, has this become more of a problem of late, or is this something that,
Well, this has happened within the last 6 months. They're newer neighbors to the neighborhood. I've spoke with them multiple times. They've got 6 cats. They just let them roam. Then I've questioned them on it. They said, well, that's what cats do, they roam. I'm at a loss here.
Sure. Any questions or comments for Mr. Smith? Commissioner Bowder?
Yeah, Mr. Smith, I couldn't understand you from the beginning. Your name, you're Mr. Smith, and what is your address? Where do you live?
My address is 513 Elizabeth Street. First name Joseph.
Got it.
Anything else, Commissioner Bowder?
Has this been going on for a long time? Is that what you were saying?
They moved in last winter. They did not start letting their cats out until it warmed up. So maybe since 1st of March, it's been an ongoing battle.
Okay, thank you.
Any other commissioners have any comments or questions for Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith, I want to thank you. What I would like, thank you for coming. Just wait a minute. And Mr. Smith isn't, I've heard, over the course of the 2.5+ years that I've been commissioner, I've heard other complaints from residents, from citizens of the city with respect to feral cats or cats in general. So we're not going to solve this tonight, but I would like to see if my fellow commissioners, I'd like to have a study session on this sometime in the future to address it and see whether there's anything that we could do. Obviously, our sister city, not sister city, but our adjacent city, Lansing, has decided to do some things, but I think that would be at least a minimum of what we could do as a commission. Any comments or any reaction to that, Commissioner Bowder?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm talking again. Yes, I think that's a good idea. I think it's a good idea.
Okay, Commissioner.
I have problems here too, and I think other people have problems around the community.
Right. Commissioner Wilson?
yeah, so I was gonna ask the question, do we have ordinance, on cats?
None. There's only one ordinance that I have found that pertains to cats in trailer park settings.
He said, yeah,
Okay,
Mr.
okay.
Smith said there's only one that he's found, and it's regarding cats in trailer parks. That's the only thing that he's found after looking
Okay.
through the ordinance here in the city. But that's
Okay,
one of the
gotcha.
things that we could, verify and discuss if we did have a study session. Commissioner
Okay,
Leonhard?
yeah, I'm in favor of it.
Okay, Commissioner Leonhard?
Yes, I'm in favor of a study session on this.
All right, Commissioner Preisinger?
I am not in favor of study session. I think that we should get reports from staff before we elevate it to a study session. There's a lot of information. I think we should get our staff's input, then decide. But right now, I don't think this rises to the level to mandate a study session.
What I was thinking was that the staff would get that information, and then we'd have a study session to kind of discuss what the staff has come up with. So maybe we're talking the same thing. What did you, the staff is gonna have to do some work, and I appreciate that, but then what, if we don't have a study session, we would just get some feedback? What if we wanted,
It may rise to the level of a study session after we get all the information from the staff, from city staff, but at this point, I don't want to jump to a study session until we can digest all that information. But we've already got 3 that said study session, so.
yeah. Okay, so I think we need to have a study session, which will be, the prelude to that will be the staff doing their work as they normally do. I don't think it's a study session that's gonna take a great deal of time. The staff, as they normally do, will have to do their work and their homework, but I'm in favor of a study session, and unless one of the other commissioners remotely has changed their mind, we do have a consensus to do a study session in the future. Okay, but that's what we're gonna do, Mr. Smith.
All right, thank
And
you.
I appreciate you coming by.
I thank you for your
And
time.
you have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other people for public comment out there? Okay, good. So we're going into a public hearing, and it's a public hearing for health, for unsafe and dangerous structures. So I will entertain a motion from one of our remote commissioners in terms of opening a public hearing.
Commissioner Bowder, I move we open a public hearing.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to open a public hearing on unsafe and dangerous structures. We are going to begin voting with Commissioner Leonhardt,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder,
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger,
Aye.
and I vote aye as the mayor. The ayes have it. The vote is 5-0. Motion carries. So we have opened a public hearing. And we are going to begin, I believe, with staff comments. Mr. Kramer?
I have none.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. As you said, this is the public hearing for the unsafe and dangerous structures. As you're aware, every year staff compiles a list of unsafe, dangerous, and blighted structures, vacant structures within the city that would be eligible for demolition under Kansas statute requirements. So staff evaluates all of those structures based on Kansas statute. And we have compiled this list. The owners were first sent notification on April 27th of possible demolition. They were requested to contact staff by May 29th to discuss the status of their structures. The commission did pass a resolution setting a public hearing for this on May 26th, just a couple of months ago. After that time, notification was again provided to the property owners as required by statute. And so we are here tonight to have the public hearing on these. So I know some owners are present. I'm not sure if we have any remotely, but we can kind of find that out as we get to each
You're going to go through them one by one,
Yes.
Ms. Hurley, and
Yep.
then after you're finished with the we'll probably ask if there's somebody here who wants to make a comment on that particular structure.
Yes,
Would
so
that
what
be
we'll do is we'll go through them one by one. We've got 21 of them on our list. We'll go through them one by one, have commission discussion, comments from any owner or representative that might be here. The commission can have a discussion, come to a consensus on each structure as we're going through. And then once we get through all 21 structures, you can make a motion based upon the preceding consensus that you've reached on each structure.
Sure,
So
that sounds good.
we will go ahead and start. The first property is 109 Allen Street. This is a single-family home. There has been no change and no contact from the owner. And this one has been without water service since 2018.
Okay, is there anybody here from 109 Allen? Yes, ma'am, come up and come here and please take a seat and state your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Wendy Arsenal. I represent Frontier Community Credit Union at 690 Eisenhower Road here in Leavenworth. I'm the account resolution supervisor. We've gone out and viewed the property and the interior as well. We believe that it is not salvageable at this point, and so we are in agreement with demolition.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
You bet.
Okay. Ms. Hurley? Any discussion or comments from commissioners on 109 Allen? Okay, we'll go to the next structure.
Okay, the next structure is 407 North 20th Street. On this one, this is another single-family house. The owner has been in contact with staff, but as of this date, there has been no work completed.
Okay, are there any comments or questions from staff on 407 North 20th?
Is anyone here?
Yes.
Come on up, ma'am. Take a seat, have a seat, please. Sure. And please state your name and address, please.
I'm Sally Cook. My residence here is 407 North 20th Street. I moved from there November of 16, and to be closer to my son in Topeka. And I had every intention of continuing to come back and clean it up and get it ready to sell. Then I got a call that said he has terminal cancer. Was at K&I in Topeka, which is for multiply handicapped. And so I quit my daytime job and spent that last 6 months with my son. So I didn't get much done at home. And at that time, or previous to that time, I had had a major heart event, which also I had a stroke. So I'm still scratching my way back up to the top, that's what it amounts to. I would very much like to, I'm going to work on I was called last Friday, and the guy who was supposed to do my yard said he wasn't going to do it. Okay, so I'll do it. My neighbor on the other side has said that he wanted to pay a certain amount for it, and he's done nothing. So I need to find a new buyer for the place. And I'm sure that it could be cleaned off and a nice house built there. Or if somebody just wanted to make a park out of it, I don't care. What I need to know is how much it would cost me for you to take it down. I paid all my taxes and
I'll take that question, and Ms. Hurley really has to bid them out. When we demo houses, we bid 8, 10, or 12 of them, however many we're going to demo. We don't ask a demo company, just do one at a time. We do all together, and they give us a price for this one, for the group, but they give it to us individually. I'm familiar with your property. I would estimate $7,500. That's an estimate. Don't take it to the bank. Ms. Hurley, I don't know if you had ballpark it, is 7,500 fair?
Yeah, that's probably pretty close. I would add too that when the city takes them down, there are additional expenses, since we do have to go through other evaluation measures since we use federal money. So an environmental review, there is an administrative fee placed on this. So there are oftentimes homeowners find that they can get actually a cheaper bid themselves. So I would suggest talking to a couple of contractors, seeing what they would charge you.
Okay.
Until we, as Commissioner Preisinger indicated, we wouldn't know a price until we were actually ready to go out to bid on these. So I would, if the commission wanted to work with you to give you time to do that, I would go ahead and contact a few contractors. And if you want to contact our office tomorrow, we can give you some names that work here in town and see if they could give you an estimate.
Okay. And there's a chain link fence. I assume you're going to demolish that too, that I put up?
We usually have our demo contractors. It kind of depends. If the fence is just around a perimeter backyard, they'll usually leave that. If it's somehow, falling down and in bad repair, they'll take that down. It just kind of depends on the property.
It's not, but they're going to take down my barn and my...
Yeah, then they would probably end up taking it down.
Okay, and if I could get somebody to take it out and keep it for me for where I'm living now, even though I'm just renting?
Yeah, you can, since it's your property, you can go in and take anything out of there that you want.
Okay. So how much of a leeway can I have here? I really would like to get it sold and get it.
So what I would suggest, if the commissioners would like to work with this owner or any other property owners, that we pick a consistent extension, whether that be 30 or 60 or 90 days, that we're gonna stick with for any properties given an extension, whether it's to find a demo contractor on your own or do repairs or whatever you might be, so that we keep a batch of them together that would then be coming back to the commission for review all at the same time.
Okay, that sounds good.
Commissioner Preisinger, do you have a preference in terms of, first of all, whether, of allowing some time?
What I would recommend, I'm familiar with this property. No offense to you, Ms. Cook, I feel it has no redeeming qualities as a structure.
I agree.
I say we keep it on the demo list. We do not give an extension, but the reality is it's 60, 90 days before we can even move. So you can have this figured out within the next 3 or 4 days, if you can find somebody cheaper. But I'm not in favor of giving this any type of extension at all. It's been an eyesore for many, many years, and it only gets worse. I know your neighbor to the north has kind of tried to keep it up a little bit, but it needs to be removed.
But even without giving an extension, the way this process works, there should be time for this.
Yeah. I mean, she can find out and get a demo bid here in the next week, very easily.
The only thing I would add is that if the commission elects to keep it on a demo list without giving an extension, then staff, we really have to move forward with our process. So we're gonna start that process of bidding it out for environmental reviews and acquiring other expenses ourselves. And then it couldn't technically come off a demolition list until it came back to the commission anyway, so.
When would you start that,
We pretty
incurring
much-
costs?
We'll start that process tomorrow, essentially moving ahead. Since it is, as you know, a lengthy process, we get rolling on that as soon as we
So
can.
when would you start incurring costs?
It would be within the next couple of weeks.
I think we continue to move on it, and that gives Ms. Cook a couple of weeks.
Was gonna,
I mean, you're gonna have to work pretty quickly, Ms. Cook. There's,
Yeah.
you can talk to Ms. Hurley's office tomorrow on potential contractors that she can give you.
Is
And
that the letter from our office? There should be a phone number on that letter.
oh wait, that's my tax thing.
Yeah, if you have the letter from
Commissioner
our
Brown has
office.
something.
Commissioner Wilson, did you have something?
Yes, I was just informing you, Commissioner Bowder wanted to make a statement.
Okay. Commissioner Bowder?
Hard to do it from here, I'm waving here, so you guys. Sally, I'm so sorry.
Hi Nancy, that's
It's
okay.
Nancy, I'm sorry to hear about your son, I heard about him before, and I'm very sorry for your loss. I think there's extenuating circumstances here, and I think we should hold off a little bit longer on this. My own opinion.
What, in terms of holding off, are you thinking 30 days or 60 days or what, Commissioner Bowder?
60 days, I think. Sally, would that work for you?
That would be wonderful. Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Leonhard, what do you think in terms of your position on this particular,
Commissioner Leonhard, I agree with Commissioner Bowder.
Commissioner Wilson?
Please.
Based upon the circumstances, I'm willing to extend the 60 days as well.
Okay. I agree with that, particularly based on the extenuating circumstances. And so that's 4 of us, but,
I'd like to, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
And Ms. Cook, I do understand, the circumstances you went through personally with your son and also with yourself. But what
I've had 5 heart things since then.
No, and I understand, and I feel for you. But what you're asking for here is just some time to contact a demolition contractor, not, someone to fix it up to sell it. And I think 60 days is far too long for the city to have to wait. Because all she is requesting is, we're giving her an estimate of $7,500, and I don't know if that's accurate or not. You want to contact whoever it might be, Lexico, or I'm not going to even name a company, that they may give you tomorrow, and say, give me a quote. I don't think 60 days is necessary. I think you can accomplish that in far less than 30 days. I think it'd be fair to the city for 30 days, but I know the commissioner said 60 days.
I work.
Yeah, no, I understand. But this has been an eyesore for a long time, but, you know, you can make a couple phone calls and somebody can come out and give an estimate. 30 days, I think, would be fine, but they've already ruled on 60 days.
We haven't ruled yet, we just
Yeah.
got the input.
Because
Now-
all you're asking for is time to get a quote on demo. You're not asking for time to get the roof put on or fix it up or anything like that. You just
I'd
want
like
to
to get-
bulldoze.
I'd like to get some more stuff
Yeah.
out there.
Oh, you'd always have time to get your personal belongings out.
I would add that I think the expectation could be that if the commission gave 60 days, that would be enough time to get in touch with a demo contractor and have them actually get the work completed, which can sometimes take a little bit of time from that initial contact, depending on how busy they are. So I'm not sure what kind of time frame you would be looking at, but that, I would just add that
I
as
would
well.
appreciate
Okay.
it very much.
So, any change from commissioners, with respect to, Commissioner Preisinger's, his just completed input? Are we gonna stay at, 60 days? Are we good with that?
Commissioner Bowser, I stay with my recommendation of 60 days.
Okay, Commissioner Wilson,
Same here.
Commissioner Leonhard?
Commissioner Leonhard, same here.
Okay, and I'm comfortable with 60, so we're gonna stay with 60 on this particular structure. Ms. Cook, good luck, and work closely with Ms. Hurley and her staff.
Yep, give me a call and we can get you some names.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Take care, Sally.
Thank you, Nancy.
Okay, the next is 1033 Osage Detached Garage.
Okay, so as you said, this is 1033 Osage. This is a detached garage only. There's been no change and no contact from the owner.
Is there anybody, okay, first of all, any comments or questions from the commissioners? Is there somebody here from 1033 Osage? Have a seat, ma'am, and let us know your name and address.
I'm Rebecca Smith at 1033 Osage. I am the wife of the owner. We have tried to call the office many times, no answers. We both lost our jobs in April because of COVID. We're just starting to get back on our feet. We just need some time.
Okay.
When you say you've tried to call the office,
We called the number that comes on the letter.
since April, you've been
Yes,
calling the number?
since April. And no answers.
What do you plan on doing with this?
I think my husband and my brother are talking about fixing it up, like fixing the holes, fixing the roof, because my husband does want to make it a workable garage, because he does have a Chrysler Newport that he wants to put back there.
You know, that structure, I drove by it again today, and I drove by it in April. And it did not get into that condition over the last 3
Yeah,
months.
yeah,
It's
we
been
understand.
years and years of cancer on the neighborhood. What can you get done in 60 days?
We can get a lot done in 60 days.
Why haven't you done it in the last 60 days?
Because we haven't had the income.
Then how,
Our-
but are you have income now?
Yes,
Okay.
because my husband, he went back to work in May, and we're getting caught up on our bills that we're about to lose. So we just need like an extension between 60 to 90 days if we
Did you
can.
sign a remediation agreement?
We know, what is that?
No, we don't have a signed remediation agreement on this one.
And you sent them
Those were
a
sent
certified
with
letter?
the
And
notification letters, yes.
So that would have to be something that would need to, if we're gonna give 60 days, that would have to be something that is kind of.
Well, any repairs would need to address the items on the remediation agreement.
And
I've
we
got
need to
that
know
from
what
all-
all we need to fix, because it's not, it
Sure,
wasn't really
sure.
classified to
That's
us.
okay.
Yep, so that's what was sent to you.
Okay. So basically just the garage, because we were thinking we had to fix the other part too.
Just this detached structure. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
so, and you can keep that.
okay, thank you.
All right, and so, so there's 60 days is on the table. I want to go around with asking the fellow commissioners. Commissioner Wilson, do you agree with that, 60 days?
I had the wrong button, sorry about that. Yes, I'm in favor of extending it 60 days.
Okay, Commissioner Leonhard?
Commissioner Leonhard, 60 days.
Okay, Commissioner
I'll
Bowder?
amend it in 10.
Okay, Commissioner Bowder?
Commissioner Bowder, I'm fine with that.
Commissioner Preisinger?
60 days.
Okay, 60 days it is, and please work with
Yes.
Ms. Hurley and her staff, and we'll hopefully you can get this taken care of in the next 60 days. Thank you.
Thank you very
Ms.
much.
Smith, please call the office tomorrow.
Yes.
You have to sign a remediation
Okay.
agreement, and that number's there, and there's been someone there.
Okay, I can do that,
Remember,
thank you.
It's a 684 number, not a 682.
684, okay.
No, I'm sorry, 680 number.
680.
680, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
Okay.
680,
Thank
not
you.
682.
Okay. So, the next property is at 1186 Randolph. It's a detached shed. And apparently, the shed has been demolished by the owner. Is that correct?
Yep,
Ms.
this one, the owner has demolished it on their own. That's what it looked like before, and this is just a picture how it is now. They've taken it down, so,
Okay. That's an easy
we'll
one.
have to get that one taken care of.
Okay. All right, good. Next is 519 Marshall, single-family house.
Okay, this is 519 Marshall. This one has changed ownership since the first time that we looked at this. This one is in the 3rd Avenue Historic District, so the Leavenworth Preservation Commission did have to consider this, which they did at their meeting on June 3rd, and they voted unanimously that demolition would damage or destroy the historically significant structure. So that vote pretty much makes it ineligible for demolition. I will let you know that it has been purchased by Darren Mann, who does have a good track record in town working with historic properties. And he has begun cleaning it up, and he's very aware of the extent of the work that needs to be done on this.
Okay.
And has, as I said, has started working on cleaning this up.
Did he want to keep the detached garage too?
Yes, he is going to be
Okay.
working on that as well.
Okay.
Good. Okay, comments or questions from commissioners on 519 Marshall, because the recommendation from staff is to remove this from the demolition list, right? Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any comments or questions from commissioners who are remote? I'll begin with Commissioner Wilson.
No, sir, no comments.
Okay, Commissioner Leonhard?
Commissioner Leonhard, no, I'm in favor of removing it from the demolition.
Okay, good. Commissioner Bowder?
I'm in favor of moving it from the demolition. This is Commissioner Bowder.
Okay, Commissioner Preisinger?
I'm in favor, and this is a success story. This is the reason we do these. We put people on notice that their houses are completely out of control and poor shape. This one got the attention of someone, they bought it, they're fixing it up. We want these houses fixed up, put back on the tax rolls. If they're not, we want to remove it. This is a success story, and I'm in favor of removing it from the demo list.
And so am I. So that's all 5 of us, and so thank you and Mr. Mann for stepping up. And he's the new owner, correct?
Correct.
Right. Okay,
Yes.
very good. Thank you, Ms. Hurley. We'll go to next is 1612 West 7th Street, single-family house.
Okay, this one, as you said, it's a single-family house. The owner has obtained a demolition permit. I got a little carried away when I was writing my policy report. They have not demoed it yet. They did just pull that demo permit on June 29th, so that's fairly recent. That's just been about 2 weeks ago, and so that is still within the time frame that we would expect that a demo contract would still be out there needing to do their work on it prior to taking it down. So we would suggest giving them time to get that actually taken down, since they are working with a demo contractor that's been into our office.
How much time? 60 days?
I would go ahead and suggest the 60 days. I would expect that it's gonna be down well before that.
Okay, so, yeah, we can keep consistent in terms of the amount of time, right, that we're...
Yeah, so then we're seeing that batch back all at once.
All right, any comments on this particular structure from commissioners? Commissioner Wilson, any comments?
No, sir, I'm in favor of giving the extension of 60 days.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Leonhard?
Yeah, 60 days is fine.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowder?
Commissioner Bowder, I'm fine with that.
Okay, Commissioner Preisinger?
I'm okay, 60 days.
I'm okay at 60 days, and hopefully it'll be done before then, right? But, okay, that's where we stand on that. There wasn't anybody here for 1612 West 7th Street, I don't think. Okay, good. Next is 1914 West 7th Street, single-family house.
Okay, this one, there has been no change and no contact from the owner.
Okay. Anybody here from 1914 West 7th?
Yes, sir.
Okay, come up, ma'am.
Hello,
Hello, please state your name and address.
my name is Trisha Alton, 609 South Hickory Trail, Lansing, Kansas.
Okay.
Tricia Alton?
Correct.
Thank you.
I am a local investor realtor here in town, and I have recently got in contact with the seller of this property and actually two others on your list that I have under contract to purchase.
Is this one under?
Yes, sir. This one here is the one I have, this is one of them I have under contract.
How long do you think it'll take? I mean, what are you talking about as far as time to consummate that deal?
This one here it's a 30-day close.
Okay.
Closing on this is August 13th. We will start the remodel process on that afterwards. This one will be a flip, and then we'll resell the property.
Okay.
Our flips normally take about 120 days, but that's a full remodel, which it is going to get full remodeled. So I know it's not going to have to be 100% remodeled to get it off the list, but at least quite a bit.
So yeah, I would suggest a 60-day extension at this point, and then we'll bring it back and review.
Okay.
And then what would typically happen when they come back for review, if you're in the process of working on it, then we'll just kind of evaluate it and see where we're at, if they want to take it off, if it's complete enough, or if they want to do another extension to give you some more time to get it finished.
That works.
Ms. Alton, do you, you're going to close on it, when did you get it under contract?
Yesterday, sir.
So August,
August 13th is
you're
our
going to
close date
close.
on this one.
Then by September 13th approximately, do you think you'll have some work already
quite a
started?
bit of it, yeah.
Okay, so that's 60 days. When you come back in 60 days, we will see some progress, not
Yes, sir.
saying we need some more time. If we see work getting done, then it makes us feel much better than just sitting there.
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay, fellow commissioners out remote, are we comfortable with what we just discussed? Commissioner Wilson?
So
60
the recommendation is 60 days, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yes, sir, I'm in favor of 60 days. I'm just trying to make sure I hear it clearly.
Correct. I should have repeated that. It's 60 days. Commissioner Leonhard?
Yeah, I agree with 60 days.
Okay, Commissioner Bowder?
I agree with 60 days. Thank you, Tricia.
Thank you,
And
Nancy.
Commissioner Price?
I agree, 60
We're all good
days.
with 60 days, so that's how we'll go.
Fantastic.
Thank you for coming.
Mr. Mayor, she's got a couple other properties. While she's
Okay.
sitting here, can we jump out of order a
Yeah,
little
we
bit?
can do that. Which other ones do you have?
What are the other? Sure.
420 Kiowa, 420 Ottawa, which is number 2 on your list, and 708 Kiowa, number 3. And with that being said, any other sellers that are interested in selling their properties?
Well, no, you're not here to
It
advertise.
doesn't hurt.
No.
It doesn't hurt to ask.
Okay. So.
Okay,
420 Ottawa, you said?
Yeah,
Yes.
420 Ottawa.
Okay.
Is,
So yeah, 420 Ottawa, this was another one, no change, no contact from the owner, and you have this one under contract.
I do, and
as
I do
well?
have copies of contracts here if you need to see them.
so it's pretty much the same thing as we just
Yes,
just
sir.
discussed with the previous property? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, I don't have any other further questions or anything.
Ms. Alton, is 708 Kiowa, was that the fire damaged one?
No, sir. That was,
704?
I know 708 is not fire damage.
Okay, I know there's one there.
That's 714.
714, okay, I know, I drove by one and went through the alley.
Well, I
Okay.
was-
Yeah, 714, that's it, I'm sorry.
I'm still on 420 Ottawa, and we're talking, Ms. Hurley, 60 days on this one, similar to, or the same thing that we discussed on the
Yeah,
previous
when do
property?
you close on this one?
I have it up to 30. These two I'm
Okay.
trying to close sooner, but
Okay.
it just depends.
We go with the 60 days
60
then for
days.
this one?
Yeah.
And then it's the same story for, for 708 Kiowa, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Let me get,
Okay, anything else, Ms. Hurley, on 708 Kiowa? I'm sorry to,
nope, you're fine, let me just,
Okay.
get to, yeah, so there's, 708 Kiowa. And that one's under contract, you said as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
okay, so we're gonna go with the 60 days as for these two properties, which we did for, 1914 West 7th, correct, was the first one? And then 420 Ottawa, and then 708 Kiowa, kind of in the same, really the same situation, all three, 60 days. And any comments or anything from any of the commissioners? Okay, we're good with that, and thank you for coming. And that's how we'll address those three properties going forward.
Fantastic, thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one is 306 North 3rd Street, single-family house.
Yep, okay, so as you said, this is a single-family house. There's been no change to this one. Owner did get in contact with staff on June 25th and indicated that she was unaware that it was on the demo list, even though she had been sent the notifications.
Is there anybody here from representing 306 North 3rd Street? See?
The owner of this one is Reedy Lewis, and she did let us know that she would not be able to attend in person. We did send her the call-in information for tonight. I'm not sure if she got on the line, though.
No one's on.
Okay.
So this one would just remain on the demolition list, Ms. Hurley?
Pending your discussion.
Okay. Discussion, comments, questions from commissioners on single-family house at 306 North 3rd Street?
Mr. Mayor, we all can see that multiple years of taxes are delinquent. It hasn't had any habitation since at least 2010, at least legal habitation, because there hasn't been utilities since 2010. I think probably the police have had squatters and other issues there. This is past the point of common courtesy to the neighbors and common decency to the neighborhood. This needs to come down immediately.
Keep it on the demolition list, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Let me go around to the commissioners out on the internet. Commissioner Wilson, any comments?
I recommend we keep it on the demo list.
Okay, good. Commissioner Leonhard.
Commissioner Leonhard, I recommend keeping it on the demo list.
Commissioner Bowder.
Commissioner Bowder, I agree with the other commissioners.
And I agree with my four fellow commissioners, so that's our position, keep it on the demolition list. Okay, next one is...
And just for clarification, Mr. Mayor, when we say keep it on the demolition list, that means that you are
Yep, so
now
we'll start our process.
You're starting the process
this
of
week,
demo.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not gonna come down this week, but we start our process.
Right.
Good. Next is 504 Miami, single-family house.
Okay, this one is 504 Miami, as you said. The property did change ownership on May 8th. The new owner has been in frequent contact with our staff and has indicated their intent to restore the property. They do have active building permits for interior and exterior renovations on this.
So you recommend, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it looks like...
Oh, is there, yes, come on up, sir. I'm sorry, yep. Please state your name and address.
Ramon Muhammad, 504 Miami.
Okay. So, what plans do you have, sir?
We're gonna go ahead and rehab it and fully rehab it and then use it for a rental property.
Where do you live now, sir? You don't live at 504 Miami.
Lawrence, Kansas.
Okay. Have you done this before?
Yes, I'm a licensed general contractor.
Have you done some in Leavenworth before?
I've worked on some properties in Leavenworth.
Okay.
I have.
So if we give you 60 days, and you can make some movement in the next 60 days that we can see progress?
Yes, sir.
I'm definitely in favor of it, and I congratulate you for picking this property up and wish you, all the success that you can get out of it. And it's a potentially nice house. It needs a lot of work. I know you know that. I drove by a couple hours ago, and more than I would care to invest in it, but that's your business, not mine.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we have 60 days as a position that we would take as a commission. Commissioner Wilson, are you good with that?
Yes, sir, 60 days.
Okay, Commissioner Leonhard?
Yes, 60 days.
Okay, Commissioner Bowder?
Yes, I agree. 60
And I
days.
agree, 60 days, so we have a unanimous 60 days, so that's what we'll do, sir.
Good luck, Mr. Muhammad.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Next is 513 Lawrence Avenue is a single-family house.
Okay, this one, again, is a single-family house. The property changed ownership after the initial notification was sent, but prior to July 7th. We've had no contact from the new owner. However, they do have active building permits for interior and exterior renovations.
Is there anybody here from 513 Lawrence Avenue? So, I mean, our options are an extension? or
I would
just-
suggest, since they do have active building permits, that we give a 60-day extension,
Okay.
just to allow those active building permits a chance to play out.
To be,
I've driven by it a couple times, and I studied it a couple hours ago. On the south side of the house, on the right side in the picture, they've roughed in a room back there, cleaned it up, and I see some rough in. But that tarp and the weeds are fence high. They need a code. They need to clean. Curb appeal is 0.
Yeah, and we can
it's
get
a
with
negative
them.
1. I'm sorry, it's not 0. And they need to clean up the street appearance of it's horrible.
what were you gonna say, Ms. Hurley?
We can work with them on that from
Okay.
a grass and weed
Yeah,
standpoint.
but I definitely give them 60 days because I did see some work.
Yeah, they
I didn't
have
see the
begun.
people working, but I
Yes.
saw that it had been roughed in.
Yes.
So we have a proposal for 60 days extension. Commissioner Wilson, are you good with that?
So, 60 days.
All right, Commissioner, Commissioner Leonhardt.
Yeah, I agree, 60 days.
Okay, Commissioner Bowder?
Commissioner Bowder, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm in favor of the 60 days. Commissioner Price, is there anything else?
Just want to make sure we know that it has been sold.
Yes, we checked with county records, ownership has changed.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, of course, I'm good with 60 days.
Okay, that's how we ended up on that one, Ms. Hurley.
Okay,
So we'll go to the next one, which is 515 North 5th Street, single-family house.
yeah, sorry, I didn't change this. This is actually not a single-family house.
Oh.
It's a multi-family
Okay.
dwelling unit.
Okay.
The owner has been in contact with staff regarding the required repairs. She initially declined to sign the remediation agreement. We spoke with her, let her know that we couldn't issue any permits for work unless they specifically related to the items on the remediation agreement. So we sent her a revised remediation agreement with a little bit more detail on it, which she had requested. She has not returned that as of tonight. There have been no permits pulled on this. However, since last week, they've started to there's been some activity on this. There's been a large construction-sized dumpster delivered to this, and they have started putting up plywood to portions of the building. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing since we haven't had any more contact from her, and there have been no permits.
Comments? Commissioner Preisinger, what's your initial reaction to this one?
Well, we have had dealings with this particular property owner multiple times over the last 10 years. We've had this property owner, in my opinion, game the system quite a few times. And not once has any of the properties that this person owned ever come to fruition on promises, verbal promises or written promises. We've seen things, and I drove by this today and went through the alley. There's a piece of plywood, and that's about a 12-foot 2x4 that is just shoring up the piece of plywood. I did see the dumpster. I don't see any work being done. The back of it, if you look at some of these pictures on the back, go to another one, Ms. Hurley. I mean, that back portion is falling in. Get the one that looks directly east.
Yeah, I don't think I have it here.
I've got it here. It's the one right here. It's in horrid shape. I would be willing to give 60 days. I'd also be willing to keep it on the demo list because I think we'll get played on this one because we have a history of being played. I'll defer to the other commissioners.
First of all, there's nobody representing 515 North 5th Street here in the audience, is there? Okay. Let me go around the horn with the commissioners and get their input. Commissioner Wilson, what do you think?
Well, I'm in favor of keeping it on the demolition list. I'm very familiar with this property as well. And, you know, I drove through the neighborhood and I think it's in disrepair. I'm afraid of it caving in, you know, sooner rather than later. And so I'm in favor of keeping it on the demolition list.
Okay. Commissioner Bowder?
Yes, I'm in favor of keeping it on the demolition list, and I can't see what another 60 days would do to this. I can't even imagine anything happening, so keep it on the demolition list. Thank you.
Commissioner Leonhard?
I agree, keep it on the demolition list.
And
Commissioner Leonhard, I have a
go ahead.
You went to mute, Kamala, you went to mute.
Kamala, Commissioner Kamala?
You're on mute if you want to say something.
Oh, sorry. Commissioner Leonhardt, I have a question. I mean, what happens? I mean, they just go ahead on their own and I guess try to start to look like they're doing some kind of repair, but they don't get a building permit. So, I mean, evidently there would be some type of fine for that, wouldn't there be?
If they are doing work that would require a building permit, our building inspection department would, I believe, issue them a stop work order. I'm not sure exactly what their penalties would be. But the building inspection division is very aware that they're out there making some movement on this, and that there's been no permit issued.
Okay. No, I agree. Keep it on the demolition list.
Okay, and I agree, keep it on the demolition list, and I'm not in favor at this point of a 60-day extension. So
I'm in agreement too. Thank you.
All right, next is 525 Pawnee, single-family house and shed.
Okay, so the owner of this property has been in contact with staff, and they've indicated that they don't have an objection to the demolition. Looks like we've got the owner here.
Yes, sir. Can you state your name and address, please?
My name is Richard Jeffries, and I own 525 Pawnee. I've owned 525 Pawnee since March of '94, when I got married and purchased that home. From day one, that home's been burglarized, robbed, everything. If you take better pictures, you'll see the whole front door got a chisel mark this far from the burglars. Couldn't get in the house from the back, so they chiseled the whole front door. And the cops tell me, oh, well, you must have F'd somebody, or did this, or did that, and owe money. I don't owe nobody money. And I said, I didn't know that was a requirement you had to meet before you got burglarized in North End of Leavenworth. And they said, well, we don't have them problems in North End of Leavenworth. 6 months later, I see on the front page of the Leavenworth Times, all the burglaries going on in Leavenworth.
So what do you plan on, so you're okay with this?
Yeah, I already talked to Kathy Rogers, and she said, what we'll do is we'll tear it down, and you can keep the land, and when you sell the property, you pay the city back. And that's exactly what she said, and that's what I'll do.
Tax lien, yeah.
I ain't got a problem with that.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Jeffries?
No, I just wanted to vent a little bit, you know?
Okay.
So,
You're not still living there, are you?
Huh? No, I haven't been living there for 4 years because they got to the point where I'd go to work and then they would just go in the house and rob me. And it was going on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So I had to go.
So we're going to keep this on the demolition list, correct? Thank you, Mr. Jeffries, for coming. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So 525 Pawnee, we're just going to keep that on the demolition list. Next is 701 South 2nd Street, single-family house.
Okay, so the owner of this one has been in contact with staff, and he's indicated that he intends to complete the necessary repairs, and there has been work ongoing on this one.
Let's start with Commissioner, anybody here from 701 South 2nd? Yes, sir.
Gentlemen.
Please state your name and address.
Calvin Lockett, 701 South 2nd Street.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Calvin Lockett, that's my property, 701 South 2nd.
Okay. Ms. Hurley, it's just, the works, I've seen the work.
Yep, so I believe you or another owner has been in contact with Ms. Rogers on our staff, and has, indicated that you're intending to keep working on it.
I've seen the work that's ongoing, so we're thinking 60 days on this particular property?
You got scaffolding up, look, you put on a roof here in the last couple months, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Siding's going up too.
Yeah, and are you putting up siding, aluminum
Yes.
siding? Okay.
I've been having some health issues. I've just been diagnosed with COPD, so I've been slow process, but I'm gonna continue until it's completed.
Did you throw your cigarettes away?
Yes, sir.
Good man.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me go around to the other commissioners. Commissioner Wilson, we're talking about 60-day extension on this
Yes,
particular
sir.
property. You good with
Yes,
that?
sir. Yes, sir, I support the 60-day extension.
Okay, Commissioner Leonhard.
I agree, I support 60-day extension.
Okay, Commissioner Bowder.
I support 60-day extension.
And I support a 60-day extension to continue. Looks like you're doing steady work on it, so just keep it up, and you're good with that, Mr.
Oh, yeah, just
Commissioner?
make sure that scaffolding is tight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't think we don't bounce at our age.
No.
Okay.
Okay, we're good on that. Thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you. Y'all have a
All right.
great day.
All right. We've already done 701. Next is 714 Kiowa, single-family house.
Okay, 714 Kiowa. There's been no change and no contact from the owner. This is the structure that had sustained fire damage.
Okay. So recommendation just is to keep it on the demolition list,
Yep.
correct? All right. I agree with that. Any comments or questions from commissioners on 714 Kiowa? If not, that's what we'll do. Okay. Next is 718 Dakota. It's a single-family house and detached garage.
Staff has had inquiries from a party who indicated that they are interested in purchasing it. But as of this date, there's been no change in ownership and no work done on it.
Okay. So this one's pretty straightforward. Also, recommendation is to keep it on the demolition list, correct?
Yes.
Move
Okay.
forward with yeah, I'm in favor of moving forward with demolition.
Okay, any, my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Wilson, favor of moving forward with demolition on 718 Dakota?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Commissioner Leonhard?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowder?
I agree.
Okay, and so do I. Moving forward on demolition for 718 Dakota, that's where we stand on that one. Next is 824 Osage.
Okay, this is another single-family home. The owner has been in contact with staff, and there is an active building permit for a roof that was obtained on May 22nd. But from what staff can tell, there hasn't been a roof replacement as of yet.
Is anybody here from 824? I'm sorry, 824 Osage. Please have a seat, one of you, and then just state your name and address, please.
Okay. Darlene Daminger, and I live right now at 112 East K, Lansing.
Okay.
And we are fixing it up.
I stay there sometimes.
Yeah,
Okay.
he goes back and forth.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's been in my family. My parents bought it years ago. So, and then we bought it from my dad after my mother passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, we know it's ran down, but we are fixing it up. We've got the porch. After we went up, we found out there's boards broke and it's hot up there. We've been up there, but we're doing it as best we can.
Right
Yeah.
now, getting them back up to where they're supposed to be, and before we put the roof on.
And I know it needs paint and privacy, but we're working on it. We're slowly but surely.
It's a solid house, it's not.
Yeah, it's still a good home.
Mr. Derringer, you and I talked 3 months ago, we put this on the list, and, you know, I was familiar with the house, used to be on my paper route 55 years ago or longer
Yeah,
than
I
that.
think I did talk to you.
And, you know, you told me at that time, hey, it's just been vacant for a couple months, you had renters in there. But now I see it hasn't even had utilities for 2 years. Did you tell me a story that wasn't true?
I've never rented my house.
Yeah, no.
You told me you had people in there
Yes, there
earlier
was.
this year. But there hasn't been any utilities for 2 years. Something doesn't jive here.
No, they had, I don't know what they were, the gas with the water, I don't know.
Well,
What
I mean,
they
it was
do. But anyway, there was
uninhabitable
people
for a couple of
there.
years, but he told me he had renters in there.
Oh, no, you know,
The water
and they
stuff was on,
left
had a
out.
fireplace in there, was used to keep warm.
You haven't had water since 2018. No,
I understand on
1920.
They just got shut off, I think,
in 2018.
Okay, now that's a possibility
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Any chance that, obviously this needs a lot of work, but I drove by it a couple hours ago, and that porch that you tore out, there is
Yes.
just, all kinds of just junk there. Go through the alley if you get the backside. There's like half a refrigerator, half a, there, I mean,
Let
it
me tell you.
is absolutely horrid back there, and you've
I
got to
agree.
feel for the
Back-
neighbors.
Back in our younger days, that's how he made his living, 90% was junk. Okay, now if you give us time, we'll get rid of that. He's not junking no more.
there's people
you know,
come all the time and drop stuff off.
And
there.
they don't
Right,
realize
I
that we're
know.
not doing it, but it's gonna take a while. He's not in the best of health. I'm an old lady. But we're doing the best we can.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm in favor of
And,
giving you 60 days, but let's get this thing
Yeah.
moving. There's some small, little things you can do that
Right.
maybe the
Yes.
neighbors would finally exhale a little bit, because it is a horrid looking property.
Oh, it looks better
On the
now
fr-
than what it did.
It looked horrible at
cut down a
4:30
lot
this
of
afternoon,
trees.
ma'am. The
Yes.
front and the back looked horrid at 4:30 this afternoon, and I feel for the neighbors.
It just,
I
the
just
porch
feel
that
so
looks
badly
bad.
for the people that have to live there. You're not living there, the people that have to live there. So please, keep them in mind and try to clean it up a little bit.
Now, the only thing's wrong is the porch, yes, it's tore up, and we had to rake all that stuff that you see.
I understand.
It's been there many, many years. We didn't even realize it was all there.
Yeah, but, and the back too, in the alley, please,
The alley,
help out your
yes.
neighbors.
Yes.
That's all I ask.
Yeah, give us 60 and you'll see a difference. I'm
Okay.
not saying we're gonna have it all completed then,
But we'll see a difference, that's what we need to see.
but you will see a difference, yeah.
So there is an active building permit for the roof, Ms. Hurley?
For the roof, yes.
Do they have to get other permits too?
It depends on what work they do.
Okay.
Well, clean it up, I don't think I need.
No, not for cleanup, I know
Or
that, I was just wondering about other
Yes.
permits. So I'm gonna go around, we're thinking 60 days extension for 824 Osage. Commissioner Wilson, are you okay with that?
Yes, sir, I'm in favor of a 60-day extension.
Okay, Commissioner Leonhard,
Yes, 60 days is fine.
Commissioner Bowder?
Yes, I agree with the other commissioners.
Okay, and I agree with the 60 days. Anything else, Commissioner Price?
No.
Okay.
Good luck, good luck.
I just want to say, you know, we've had it for 30 years, our family. I grew up, all my kids, my grandkids and everything.
And it will,
She grew up in the
I'm gonna work
home
on
and
it.
her yeah.
I'll have to work on
It's
it
been in
too.
the family for a
We'll
long
get it.
time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming by this evening.
Thanks
All
a
right,
lot.
thank you. Next is 836 Potawatomi.
Okay, this one, the owner's been in contact with staff, and they do have active building permits for work on this, and they have made significant progress. And so, with the state that it's in now, staff would recommend that it be removed from the demolition list.
Ma'am, are you here to speak for this particular, can you have a seat and then just let us know your name and address, please?
My name is Francis Hayes. I live at 1719 Shawnee Street.
Okay. And so apparently you're making progress, and we've got a pretty good report from staff here. So do you have anything to add, ma'am?
I don't, except for, I have windows to go in. They're inside the house. I just haven't had them put on, but I did get a new roof. I did get a new porch. We've been priming for paint and,
Okay.
yeah, it
Very
should
good.
be okay in a minute.
Now, when you get it finished, are you gonna live there, or are you gonna rent it out?
I'm gonna rent it.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, I'm comfortable, Commissioner Price.
Yeah, I drove by it a couple hours ago, and it's a big difference in the last 60, 90 days. It's good work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Fellow commissioners out there via the internet, Commissioner Wilson, are you good with removing from the demolition list?
Yes, I am.
Commissioner Leonhard?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Bowder?
Yes, I drove by there as well. It looks really so much nicer.
Good.
Oh, good.
Thank you for your work, and yes, we're in agreement, we'll remove it from the demolition list.
But I'll keep working.
Okay, good luck.
Thank
Good luck,
you.
man. Thank you. Next is 934 Ottawa, single-family house.
Okay, on this one, there's been no change and no contact from the owner.
Madam Mochi, present here for the owners at your service.
Okay, if you're here for 934 Ottawa, one of you please have a seat. Let us know your name. Let us know your name and address, please.
My name is Mario Morchi. I'm from 4704 Gretel Circle, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89102.
Have a seat, sir.
Thank you kindly.
So we just got a report that no change, there's no contact from the owner. Are you the current owner of the home?
No, family member owns it, and I'm requesting for a 60-day extension. I had no idea they had this situation. I can have the place painted within the 60 days. I don't know what's even wrong with it.
How did you find out about it?
Somebody gave me a notice here and said they have found this on your family's property. And it looks like, I don't know what they did, but they handed me this. And they said, and I said, yeah, you're right, thank you. And so,
It's the remediation agreement with the items that need to be completed.
thank you again.
So if we give you 60 days, you think you can make a dent on this thing?
Oh, yes, of course, yeah, sure.
Mr.
Somebody said something about it needed to be painted. Sorry.
I mean, I'm not doubting the gentleman that he is a family member, but we have no proof that he is a family member, a registered agent, the owner, or anything like that. I don't know that the commission should interact. We've had this before where we need some paperwork, something notarized, something giving somebody the authority to speak on behalf of a property.
Okay, yeah, I don't have the notarization, but I have the authority from Billy Carlisle.
We need something. We need a legal document of some kind.
This morning.
Okay.
He wanted me to come up and speak, and
Where is he?
He's in Las Vegas. He now lives in Las Vegas.
And where do you live?
I live here.
And you live in Las Vegas,
Yes.
right, sir?
Yes, sir.
I was a property manager in this.
You're the property manager, not a family member?
Right. Okay. So, I mean, whatever that house needed was beyond my control. And with everybody dealing with sick people in Las Vegas, it's hard for me to, try to get from here to there to let them know, especially when they're, taking care of their sick family members. The guy that owns it, he just got out of the hospital. He had surgery on his back, so.
Could you state your name? I'm sorry.
My name is Justina Budd. I used to live in the house.
Justina?
Yes, Justin with an A.
And what was last name?
Budd, B-U-D-D.
Ms. Williamson, did you get everybody's names?
No, if you could spell your name, I would really appreciate it.
My name is Meyer Morchi, M-O-R-C-H-I-J is the last name. And first name is Meyer, M-E-I-E-R.
So really, we need, before we can do, we need some type of official documentation, right? That.
Do you have any forms that you can give me that I can fax to the owners?
No, it would need to come from the property owner, would need to assign the authority.
What would you like me to get?
That's up to you to determine.
Okay.
You need to have some sort of official notarized or legal documentation giving you authority to make actions for this house. And we do have our city attorney on the line.
We'll say in the meantime, I'll go get the paperwork, and then as a courtesy to the owners, I'll paint the house. And then when we come back to court, I'll give you the paperwork that you need, or that's required, or whatever you're asking for.
But at this point, I think we gotta keep it on the demolition list because we don't have that official documentation.
I don't think you can grant an extension to somebody who's not a legal representative.
Should I
of the
call the
property
owner right now and have something faxed over?
That won't work for us, so we'll need a legal document, but.
You have time to, I mean,
But you need to do it tomorrow, or tonight.
Okay, so what am I doing here?
You need a
I wouldn't tell him what you need.
Attorney?
Well, he needs, and David, are you on the line?
Mr. Waters?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I was just trying to get the buttons done together.
This is our city attorney, sir.
If you wanted to, I mean, you could grant an extension here. I think you have that ability to pull those records together. I don't think that you would want to be issuing permits or allowing things like that unless you had some sort of authorization as to the property owner, the ability to do that. Now, I mean, the city, you could, I don't know that you're necessarily obligated at times, but I think you generally are, require some sort of affidavits or things like that from your contractors that they have permission to pull the permits, they have permission to do the work. They at least verify in some way to the city that they are acting as the agent on that. And, this is a case where, it doesn't sound like we have any idea at this point who, what the relationships are. So I think your options here are to either, continue it on the list, and then, if something, could be done within the short amount of time before before action is taken, perhaps then something else can be done, or provide an extension of some period to see, if proof of ownership or power of attorney is provided and any permits are pulled.
I would suggest maybe a 2-week,
2 weeks sounds.
period in order to get us some sort of documentation showing that they, have, authority to pull permits. And then should that come in, then we could grant an extension for the remainder of that 60-day period.
That's a good idea.
That we've given the others to keep everything in line.
Mr. Waters,
Yeah, I think you could do
would these
something like
folks
that,
need
you know,
a power of attorney?
The administrative extension in some way.
No, Mr. Waters, for these property owners, I know you're not here to give them legal advice, but if they get a power of attorney from the property owner for this particular property, would that suffice?
Yeah, I think that would be the preferable way to go, to show that, that whatever
Yeah, if
is
you
under the
would kindly
property,
assist us in this
there's
matter,
some
please.
sort of, approval in that way. I would always certainly recommend that, I don't know, I'm looking at my record here, do we have the legal name of the owners, or is this just a tax address? If the property's held in trust or something like that, is there any concern there on that?
Yeah, we've
But, I
got
think
listed as Betty and Billy Carlisle. Yeah.
My aunt and cousin, yes.
I'm comfortable with what Ms. Hurley has recommended in terms of.
Betty Carlisle are surviving, they're alive?
I'm sorry, what?
They're both alive.
Oh, yes, yeah, of course.
Okay, then,
Thank you.
I think, authority, I think it'd be best to have authority from
Good
both of them
question.
in some way. I don't know if they hold title joint and severally, for example.
I didn't hear what you said, that last statement.
I said it would be best to get something from both of them. They may, I don't know how they hold title.
Oh,
It could
okay.
be joint and several. They could hold it in trust. I don't know, but that'd be.
You talk to them quite often.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Have them, get an attorney, get a power of attorney, giving your name or whoever's gonna be doing it.
Okay.
Have both of them sign it, notarize it, get it to you, get it to us, and you've got
Okay, now
2
when do
weeks
we
to get
bring
it
that- Do
done.
we just bring it back into the building?
And talk to Ms.
Yeah, you
Hurley.
can bring it up here. Yes.
And what date, when do we do this?
2 weeks.
Within the next 2 weeks.
Within the next 2 weeks.
You wanna do it tomorrow.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then when I come here,
Yeah.
what do I ask? What's your name?
My name, all right.
Thank you kindly. Thank you very much.
Can I make one more comment? Gentleman mentioned he's gonna paint it. I think we need to make sure that everybody's on the same page, that this requires a replacement of an entire roof, siding, replace and repair, windows and doors. This is well beyond painting, so I just wanna make sure that everybody is aware of this.
Well, it would be an improvement.
Everybody
if it was
seems to
painted.
live in
So
Las
it wouldn't-
Vegas.
Yes, I know that, but it would be an improvement if it was painted, first of all, and then the roof, we can handle that too, but I don't think it was the entire roof. But I'll look at it again. I remember that.
I went by it today and.
It's
Okay, I'll have somebody inspect it again.
Everything on the list that Julie
So
gave you
the
needs to be
entire
done.
roof needs to be, was the entire roof?
It's on the list that Julie gave
Okay,
you.
because I remember looking and noticing the front, and then there was a lot in the back, so.
Yeah.
And I bought the materials, I already have the materials
It's
for it.
extensive repair.
I hope you got deep pockets coming from Vegas, because it's gonna take it for this piece of property.
Yeah, they did work,
Look
yes.
at the roof line there.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we got this 2-week extension where this, a documentation has to come in, and then we'll make a decision at that point in terms of the remainder of the time, which would be, about 45 days for the.
Yeah.
So Commissioner Wilson, are you good with that approach?
Yeah, so this is, an administrative.
I'm sorry, say again?
Is this considered a administrative extension for 2 weeks? Is that what we're voting on?
Sure, it's just an extension for 2 weeks to give them time to get the power of attorney, to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right, yes, I'm in favor of it.
Okay, Commissioner Leonhard?
Commissioner Leonhard, yeah, I'm in favor of the 2 weeks.
Commissioner Bowder?
Commissioner Bowder, I'm in favor of the 2 weeks.
Commissioner Preisinger? Yeah,
I'm in favor.
good. So we're good.
Can I-
That'll
can
be
I-
Thank you
good.
kindly, thank you kindly, gentlemen, thank you.
Can I get a clarification for the minutes? So are we doing a 2 weeks extension for documentations? And if that doesn't come in,
Then it will remain on the demo list.
and if it does, then automatically 60-day extension
Yes.
with the rest? Okay,
Yes.
I just want to make sure I had that correct.
The remaining.
Would be an additional 45 days.
Right, but it would go
remainder
with
of
the,
that
yes,
60 days
yeah, with the
processing,
same
yeah.
60-day
Yes.
timeframe, okay.
Okay.
Alrighty, believe it or not, I think this is the last
Yep,
one.
this is the last.
719 North 9th Street, detached garage.
Okay, yeah, so this is the detached garage only. The owner of this property is deceased. Staff has been in contact with the daughter of the deceased, who is working on getting her mother's estate transferred into her name, which, as you are probably aware, that can take a little bit of time. So she was in contact with our staff today and indicated that there is, she's spoken with their lawyer's office, and that there is a hearing on the 24th of this month, allowing for the property to be changed into the daughter's name. After that takes place, the daughter has talked to Mary Dwyer on our staff about getting some grant funds to help her in getting this torn down. So she is intending to demolish this garage on her own. She's just asking for an extension to allow her to get the name change from her deceased mother into her name, so that she can actually legally do that.
When is she,
go ahead.
when is she going to court, did you say?
It's on July 24th.
So, and if we give a 2-week extension similar to the other property, we'd be in pretty good shape.
What do you recommend, Ms. Hurley?
We can do a 2-week extension and see where she's at. She said that there was, it was the hearing to allow the property to be put in the daughter's name, so we can check back in 2 weeks and see if that's been accomplished. I know with legal matters, sometimes there's delays, but we can certainly revisit it in 2 weeks.
Okay, all right. So I'm comfortable with that. Commissioner Preisinger is. Commissioner Wilson, are you comfortable with that?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, Commissioner Leonhard?
Yes.
Okay, and Commissioner Bowder?
Yes, I have to say something here. I Miss Taylor, I knew Miss Taylor, and when I worked in the community development organization, we got a grant from the city to put a new roof on her house. And at the time, we couldn't get enough to do the garage. She was handicapped, and it's gone downhill a lot since then, apparently. So yeah, I think 2-week extension, and then probably get that demolished. But the house itself is not bad.
Okay, very good. Thank you for your feedback there. Okay, I think, is that it, Ms. Hurley? I think
That is the last one.
All right, so any other further comments or questions from commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Commissioner Wilson.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to close the public hearing for these unsafe and dangerous structures. We are going to begin voting. Hold on a minute. We're going to begin voting with Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Leonhard.
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger.
Aye.
And I vote aye. As the mayor, the ayes have it, 5-0. Motion carries, so we've closed the public hearing. The next action is consideration of Resolution B 2257, demolish or repair structures. And I would, before we make one of us makes a motion, Ms. Hurley, how would you recommend we make the motion?
I would defer to city clerk on that.
I mean, because some of them, we granted a 60-day extension, the rest of them were left on the demolition list, and then there were 2 that had the 2-week. But so, Ms. Williamson, can you give us a recommendation?
Yes, I would recommend, we've made notes of what your consensus was along the way. I would recommend that you do a motion, something similar to move to proceed with the properties as they were discussed and the consensus was made.
Good. Mr. Mayor, I move that we...
Mr. Waters, did you have something different you wanted to say?
No, I was saying
okay. I saw him pop on and I wanted to make sure.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve Resolution B 2257 to demolish or repair structures as discussed and as the city clerk has annotated.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on this particular agenda item. So we're going to begin voting on this agenda item with Commissioner Leonhard.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder?
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger?
Aye.
And I vote aye as the mayor. The ayes have it. The vote is 5-0. The motion carries. So we've approved the resolution and the motion as was discussed on the demolition and repair of structures. Thank you. Next is mayor's appointments. Let me get down there too. Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to appoint to the City Planning Commission Mr. Shannon Wayne Williams to an unexpired term ending May 1st, 2023. Also appoint to the Community Development Advisory Board Ms. Ellen Bogdan to an unexpired term ending August 31st, 2022. Also appoint to the Convention and Tourism Committee Ms. Lisa Weekly to an unexpired term ending January 31st, 2021. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Bowder, a second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on this particular agenda item. We are going to begin voting with Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Leonhard?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder?
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger?
Aye.
And I vote aye as the mayor. The ayes have it. The vote is 5-0. So the appointments that are approved as we've discussed. I think the three of the committees. All right, next is first consideration ordinance to amend section 4487, no parking anytime. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Kramer or Chief Kitchens.
Chief Kitchens tonight.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor and Commission, this is Chief Kitchens. The police department is before the governing body this evening asking for you to place a ordinance on first consideration that will change section 44-87, no parking anytime. On June the 3rd of 2020, the city manager's office received a formal request from the Leavenworth Board of County Commission requesting a change to the parking at the county courthouse, specifically a request to eliminate parking on 4th Street between Walnut and Custard on the west side of the courthouse. Their internal safety committee made the request due to safety concerns. That letter is attached to the policy report. On June the 26th of 2020, the matter was reviewed by the City of Leavenworth Traffic Safety Committee and approved and recommended that those changes. Right now, section 4487, no parking anytime, identifies the following statement. 4th Street, both sides from the north side of Eisenhower Road to the south side of Metropolitan, with the exception that parking is allowed on the east side of 4th Street from the north side of Walnut to the south side of Custer Street. That sentence there, that exception would be removed, and therefore you would not be allowed to park on the west side of the courthouse. And I will do my best to answer whatever questions that you might have about that.
Okay, any comments or questions from commissioners for Chief Kitchens? Hearing none, this is, we need a consensus to basically put this on first consideration ordinance to amend section 4487, no parking anytime. So let's see if we have a consensus. I'm going to begin with Commissioner Wilson.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Leonhard?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowder? Commissioner Bowder?
Not there.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner Preisinger?
Yes.
Okay, so, and I, yes, I think we need to proceed to sometime in a future meeting, second.
She's back.
Oh, Ms. Bowder, Commissioner Bowder, are you good with approving this first consideration, consensus?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So we've got a unanimous consensus to go ahead and move forward on this. Any questions or comments? No, thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
And I guess you're here for another one. First consideration, ordinance to rescind special user permit, 1922 Fifth Avenue.
This will be, yeah, this will be Julie Hurley,
Okay.
Yeah, I can do this one. This was actually a special use permit for a daycare on Fifth Avenue. The home sustained a fire a month or two ago, and so the owner has requested that the special use permit be rescinded, and she does intend to apply for a new special use permit for an in-home daycare at another location here in the near future.
Okay, are there any questions or comments on this particular agenda item for Ms. Hurley? So we have to see if we have consensus to place an ordinance on first consideration to rescind the special use permit as presented. I'm going to start with Commissioner Wilson.
Yes.
Commissioner Leonhard.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowder.
Yes.
Commissioner Preisinger.
Yes.
And as the mayor, I say yes, so we have a consensus to place an ordinance on first consideration. Thank you. Let me see what's next here. Okay, that completes old business, new business, I'm sorry, new business. So we have a consent agenda, and I'm going to turn that over to Commissioner Leonhard.
Commissioner Leonhard, I move to approve claims for June 20th, 2020 through July 10th, 2020 in the amount of $1,821,823.59. Net amount for payroll number 14, effective July 3rd, 2020, in the amount of $369,168.65. No police and fire pension.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on this consent agenda. We're going to begin voting with Commissioner Leonhard.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger.
Aye.
And as the mayor, I vote aye. The ayes have it, 5-0. Motion carries, so we've approved the consent agenda for today's commission meeting. So, we're going to go around the horn and see whether there are any other comments or remarks by commissioners, but we'll begin with City Manager, Mr. Kramer.
I have nothing this evening.
Okay. I'll start with Commissioner Wilson. Do you have anything?
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you to Chief Kitchens and the Leavenworth Police Department. The department did a great job building community relationships last night. They communicated very well with the public and updated the citizens with the Leavenworth Police Department use of force policy. As a community, I truly believe we are growing together and making progress. And thank you once again, Chief. You did an excellent job with your presentation.
Thank you, and I know I echo those comments as the mayor, and it was a very, very good session. Thank you, and to you and your officers, and the public for coming, participating, and asking some really good and tough questions. Commissioner Leonhard. Any comments?
No comments at this time.
Okay. Commissioner Bowder?
Yes, I have a comment here. This is in regard to, and I'm sure I'm going to make some enemies here, but this is in regard to the Governor Kelly's mask must be worn statewide executive order. Our county has opted out of that, and I just wondered if the commission could maybe discuss the possibility of opting back in. If our home commission could do that. I feel like the numbers are growing here. They're getting closer. I almost feel like they're closing in on me here. And I really think this is such a good step in order to keep the spread down and keep our one hospital that we have left from being overwhelmed. We need to have a statewide mask order. And I think we need to have it here as well. I think other counties around us have it. And I look for any comments that you all might have.
Commissioner Wilson here, does anyone have the numbers on the hospitalization currently in the Leavenworth County?
Well, in terms of hospitalization, I haven't been tracking that as closely as I have been tracking the number of positive cases. Yesterday, and the county reports on 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yesterday, in terms of people within the county testing positive for COVID-19, there were 14. On Friday, last Friday, there were 17. And then, I mean, that's where it's kind of been for the last, somewhere between 10, 15, 16, 17 people every 2 days. I'm going to talk about that during my Facebook Live town hall tomorrow. I usually go over the statistics, but I mean, generally in the last month, I mean, the numbers are up there, which is probably not surprising. They're up within the state. But I mean, in terms of yesterday, 14 new cases, people testing positive. Last Friday was 17, I believe. In terms of hospitalizations, I don't know what the numbers are, but I will go over those tomorrow during the Facebook Live town hall, unless some of the other commissioners have some input on hospitalizations. No. Does that answer your question at this point, Commissioner Wilson?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Preisinger.
I understand what Commissioner Bowder is saying, and I think that we as a commission possibly should discuss it with some staff input. Maybe we can put it on a study session as quickly as possible. I believe that the use of masks, the science behind the use of masks does prove that it does help to mitigate, or not eliminate, but mitigate the virus. I see a lot of people wearing masks. Unfortunately, I see a lot of people not wearing masks in public places. In fact, last night at the community relations presentation, I saw 3 or 4 community leaders without masks. They were really the only ones there without them, and I was very disappointed in that. This is, once again, as I've said many times before, this is not a political issue. This is science. And just common courtesy to your common man. Please wear a mask. You have to wear a mask going into the courthouse. I wish businesses would, ask their customers or require their customers to wear masks. It's something that's very easy. It's not that intrusive. And if we're right in the long term, it's great, we're right. And if we're wrong, if it doesn't work, it's just a minor inconvenience. So please, anyone that's listening, please wear a mask anytime that you're in a public area. It's just common sense and common decency. Thank you.
And one thing I want to propose, this is Commissioner Bowder again, I don't want to see businesses closed, but I don't think it's that big of an issue to wear a mask inside a business.
I agree.
That's just I know you can't eat wearing a mask, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Commissioner Leonhardt.
Go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I agree. I'm open to discussion about this. And, I think it's up really to the business owner. If they own the business, if they post you have to wear a mask in there, then people should abide by that. I know there's a couple businesses. Actually, there's a corporation in town. It's a small corporation, but that has it on the front door. And I shop there, and I have no problem wearing a mask. And it's a very clean store. So if you choose not to wear a mask, it's like then you just choose not to go to those places that require it or vice versa. But I'm open to discussion.
Before I comment, could I ask our city attorney, because the authority and the responsibility and the authority by Kansas statute and the fact that they have a public health office is at the county level, but there have been instances in the last week or two, I think, where some cities within counties that decided to opt out have gone ahead and passed, an order requiring masks. What would be our authority Mr. Waters, if we were to do that, could we do that? And if so, what would the authority be for the city to do that?
So certainly the Leavenworth County Health Officer has some authorities as well. So, going down the hierarchy, you have, the governor who took her orders, and then she gave certain powers to the Board of County Commissioners. The Leavenworth County Health Officer has authority as well that would also could be subject to approval or rejection by the Board of County Commissioners. But cities also have, you've heard of the term home rule authority. You have your powers. So long as there's not, you're not preempted from doing so for imposing such reasonable regulations as are necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of your residents. So the city of Leavenworth could adopt an ordinance on its own requiring face masks. That could be in line. I mean, I've seen a couple of cities that have essentially taken what Governor Kelly did and essentially turned that into an ordinance. Enforceable in municipal court, depending on to what level that you would want it to be. You could establish a fine schedule and such. Certainly there is authority as well that, if somebody is, if somebody is on a business without a mask and the business requires it, you can already enforce that through trespassing or things like that. But no, certainly through your home rule authority, the city of Leavenworth could decide for itself to mandate the wearing of masks within public places in the city.
Okay. That's a good explanation. I appreciate it, Mr. Waters. Any questions for Mr. Waters on that explanation of what we could do as a city commission? I think ever since this COVID-19 health crisis began, myself as the mayor and also from my fellow city commissioners, we've articulated that the overriding priority of the city commission, the city manager, and the city staff is to do our very best to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of all Leavenworth citizens. And I haven't changed. I don't think the commissioners have changed with regard to that principle, that priority. And therefore, in terms of what's happening with the numbers really going in the opposite direction of where they really need to go, and with these important decisions coming up with respect to our students and our children within the city going back to school, I think that we do need to, next Tuesday, which we have a study session, I would ask the city manager if he could draft an ordinance, a draft ordinance, prepare a draft ordinance requiring masks in the city of Leavenworth, and that would be the basis for the discussion that we would have at that particular study session as to whether we would want to do that, take action to do that. And so that's kind of where I stand as the mayor. Mr. Kramer, is that, can we do that?
We can. I would like a little more direction on what else you want to see. What kind of, Mr. Wilson mentioned hospitalization. I think there's, how full a picture do we want? The cases are increasing. What is the percentage of positive tests? I mean, there's, is it still 6 to 8%, or has that increased? What sort of information, what sort of requests would you like me to make as far as requesting people to come to the meeting? Would you like me to reach out to the health department? Would you like me to, there's just, I want to make sure that everything that.
That's good. Those are good questions. Mr. Preissner, did you have?
I do believe if we could ask someone from St. John Hospital to be here, one of the executives, to kind of tell us what they're seeing from a hospital perspective. I think if we ask our county health officer to be here, it could put him in a very uncomfortable position in that he doesn't report to us, and his hands may be tied somewhat on HIPAA type issues. But someone from St. John Hospital, I think, could add a lot to the discussion and see where the problem is, what they're seeing at the hospital level, what they're seeing with people that are critically ill or very ill versus those that are asymptomatic, and what medical professionals are saying. They should have some accurate details. And I do believe at a minimum we should at least have a resolution obviously, I think we'll get into discussion next week, is enforcement on this could be, it's like herding cats. No pun intended. But, you know, an example, and I talked about with someone earlier, let's say someone's in Walmart, or you're at the grocery store in aisle 4, you know, in the cereal aisle, and you've got your mask on, somebody else comes up and doesn't have a mask on. You tell them, hey, you're supposed to have a mask on. The guy says, shove it, I'm not putting my mask on. The guy then calls the police and says, come and get this guy. And I have a feeling the police are not going to drop everything and come out there just for that. But it could easily, about 3 minutes later, elevate that we got a fist fight, 2 guys rolling on the floor in aisle 4. Then the police do come out and it becomes a bigger issue. But I also think if we do make a strong resolution, I think more and more people will wear the mask. And I think that's where we want to be. I don't think we want to necessarily punish people that are refusing to wear a mask, but this education, if we can get up to that 95%, there obviously there's 3 or 4 people last night that, in my opinion, were making a statement why they weren't wearing a mask. And I thought it was, you know, I didn't agree with it, but everyone else was wearing a mask. If we get 95% of the people wearing masks, I think we can help. So whatever we can do to get to there, I think would be good.
One of the things, Mr. Kramer, is that just, you know, we don't need to drill down completely, but just kind of where we were, where the county was a month ago, and I've been doing this every other week with the statistics, but I mean, things have worsened, and that's concerning to me, and I believe other commissioners also, in terms of the numbers, particularly with us getting closer and closer to the hopefully opening of schools. And I think, so that's one consideration in terms of, I mean, it'd be better if the numbers were going in the opposite direction with respect to opening schools, as an example. But I guess in terms of stats, where we were maybe 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago versus where we are now, just to show. I mean, I know what's happened, but just so the public would understand one of the major reasons that we're considering this. The other thing is I've gotten, I mean, as the mayor, I get emails, but I've gotten, 5 or 6 in the last 10 days. And sometimes there's a misunderstanding that that's the county commission responsibility with respect to the, opting out of the governor's order, and I explained that, but I mean, others just say, even they understand that, but they would want us to take a harder look at what's best for the city of Leavenworth. I mean, that comes through with some of the emails I've gotten on this particular issue. So is that enough, or is in terms of Mr. Miller, Jamie Miller? Yeah, it could be tough, but I mean, I'm sure you will talk to him in terms of what his,
Well, and we'll do our best. We turn this stuff around by Thursday, so anything we'll have to have for the agenda packet, because that goes out Friday, so it'll be a quick turnaround. We can get a draft of an ordinance and some information, but it'll be limited.
Sure. And do we need to let?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple more quick comments. The purpose of this mask order, I think that all of us want, one, is for the health of all of our citizens, and 2, we want businesses to stay alive.
Right.
We can remember 3 months ago, we had shut down businesses. Right. And just this last week, they're shutting down, first time in history, the Kansas State Fair. Yeah. Because the COVID has increased. Once again, it's a minor inconvenience to wear a mask. And if that keeps the businesses open, helps keep the businesses open, I'm pleading with people to do it. And the people that don't do it for whatever reason, they say their rights, and I don't want to get into a legal discussion, but I asked them to go 2 miles north. Why aren't they up there at Fort Leavenworth saying, hey, you're violating my rights here? Try playing that game at Fort Leavenworth. Yeah, it ain't gonna work. Yeah. And obviously they have different enforcement actions, but I don't hear them, that hue and cry coming from that group saying that. So, hey, let's keep our businesses open, and the way we can keep them open is people stay healthy. Please wear a mask.
Yeah. And in Fort Leavenworth is becoming stricter. I mean, it's not just the hospital and the PX and the commissary, and there was one other location, but I think it's post-wide. At least within the offices, people have to wear mask. I don't know, I haven't been on base in the last few days, but I have a feeling that when I go on tomorrow, they may require me to wear a vest. I do know they're getting a little bit more stringent with respect to their mask wearing requirements at Fort Leavenworth. And Chief Kitchens, do you have anything to add to this discussion?
He'll be here next week.
I will certainly be here, and I would like to reserve some time to talk about enforcement. That will be our role, obviously. I have some concerns about that, and so let me think about that.
Okay.
But I'll be here next week ready to talk about that.
Mr. Kramer, any further guidance from me as the mayor?
No, I think we have enough.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Nancy.
One more comment?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Bowder.
Okay. Well, we talk about, I wanted to answer Commissioner Wilson's comment. I think there's only one in the hospital right now here in Leavenworth. How many hospitals do we have? But we don't know how many are at the VA, and I know there are some at the VA. And we don't know how many are positive at Fort Leavenworth. I know they are stricter up there, but I've also seen a lot of younger people in our community, they're not wearing masks, and in some of our restaurants and the grocery stores. And, we are in a mixed community where people come from all over the country and all over the world. And I think we need to think about that. We're very close to Kansas City too. I know I go right down the road. A lot of people go right down the road to work. And so the other counties around us are enforcing the governor's executive order. I don't want to see jobs closed. That's what I don't want to see. So anyway, if we could just move on from this and just get, I would like to see where you want to direct this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner
Commissioner
Bowder.
Huffman, just a quick question. So next week, will we put this on the study session and bring it to a vote? Is that what we're gonna be looking toward
So
next?
there cannot be a vote at a study session unless you create some sort of special meeting. You couldn't enact an ordinance at a study session.
So we'd have to make, so what do my commissioners feel? The timing, the study session a week from today is a week from today, and the closer we get to the opening or the potential opening of schools and things like that. So do we want to give some guidance to the city manager that we would have a special meeting to vote on this draft resolution? Because if not, then, if we think that's the way to go, we'd have to have a special meeting later in the week, correct? Mr. Kramer?
Yeah, at some point you'd have to call a special meeting.
And I think we can do that easily.
Okay.
So, obviously with the technology that we have now, that's not an issue.
So just address it as a study session item on Tuesday, and then depending on where we end up at the end of that study session, if we need a special meeting,
We can take action as needed, yeah.
I'm good with that. Let me go around the horn with, are you good with that, Commissioner Wilson?
Yes, I'm open for discussion, yes.
Okay. Commissioner Leonhard?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowder?
Yes.
And I feel the same way, and I think we'll know at the end of that study session if we do want to move forward. We'll have to, obviously, if we're going to take a vote sometime, we'll have to have a special meeting, so we understand the ground rules and that we have to adhere to. So that's what we'll do. Any other further? Let me think. Any other questions or comments from commissioners at this point? Just a reminder that I have a Facebook Live town hall tomorrow at 11 a.m. and it's every other week now. So I'll talk a little bit about what kind of summing up very quickly what we talked about here at the end of the meeting to the people who are participating in the town hall. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a
Mr.
motion and
Bowder.
a second to adjourn this evening's city commission meeting. We're going to go around the horn and beginning with Commissioner Wilson. Commissioner Leonhard,
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder,
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger,
Aye.
and I as the mayor vote aye. The vote's 5-0, motion carries, so we are adjourned.